All right, I have the 6 best handcuff running backs for fantasy football. The 6 best. These guys aren't starters. They're not on the top of the depth chart right now, but they will be major factors in the NFL. They should be hoarded at the end of fantasy drafts. Number 6, Kendra Miller. He was arguably a more violent runner than Bijan Robinson last year in college. The guy put up 1,400 rushing yards, 17 rushing touchdowns for one of the most prolific offenses in college football. His size, athleticism, and dynamism is reminiscent of J.K. Dobbins before the knee injury, and that's evidenced by that 6.2 yards per carry that he showed last year. Like Dobbins, the breakaway speed is real. The receiving skills are real. He's real. Only Bijan Robinson has his combination of tackle breaking and breakaway speed. It's such a rare combination. Like Bijan, Kendra Miller is a better receiver than the counting stats suggest. He was so good, he convinced former top recruit Zach Evans to scurry out of town. He's as underrated as Quentin Johnston is overrated. Love Kendra Miller. Jamal Williams is now 28. Both his juke rate and breakaway run rate ranked outside the top 50 qualified running backs in 2022. Jamal Williams is dusty. He runs to contact. That makes him a high injury risk. The Lions knew this. They moved on, and the Saints signed him to a 3-year deal for $9 million. That's less than $3 million a year. That's backup RB money. Meanwhile, Alvin Kamara has been meeting with Roger Goodell. He's expecting a suspension. Kendra Miller has been cleared to practice. He's healthy. One long run in week 1, and it's a wrap. He instantly becomes the new Thunder to Kamara's Lightning in New Orleans. At number 5, Chuba Hubbard. Miles Sanders signed the fakest 4-year contract I've ever seen. It was only $13 million guaranteed. This is not the locked-in organizational commitment that it was sold to be. Behind Miles Sanders is Chuba Hubbard, and behind Hubbard is a 195-pound satellite back named Blackishire. The key is, I'm not sure Sanders is better than Hubbard. Hubbard is a 2,000-yard rusher at the college level, and he's only been getting better. He posted a 5.8 yards per touch, which ranked number 6 among NFL running backs last year, and he caught 25 passes the year prior. He's actually a more complete all-purpose back than Sanders, who has the weakest ankles in the NFL, and was usurped by Kenneth Gainwell in the playoffs last season after catching just 20 passes on a pathetic 0.36 yards per route run. Ooh. Love Chuba Hubbard. But Chuba Hubbard's not as exciting as Jalen Warren. Jalen Warren is number 4 on this list because let me tell you a little secret. Najee Harris is a plotter. He's not fast. Jalen Warren is actually fast. As a runner, Warren's yards created per touch was 3.82. That was number 5 among qualified NFL running backs last year. Harris, 2.13. That ranked number 45. Okay, Harris catches passes. So can Warren. As a receiver, Harris's yards per reception was 5.6 last year. Warren's 7.6. Mike Tomlin recognized this. Warren outsnapped Harris versus Buffalo. It would have been off to the races if not for a midseason hamstring strain. Pittsburgh invested heavily in their offensive line, so the Steelers' running game is set to bounce back just in time for Najee Harris to lose his primary job to Jalen Warren. Which takes me to Jerome Ford, my number 3 top NFL handcuff for fantasy football. This one I love. Jerome Ford was an Alabama recruit. He was a star in college football for a playoff Cincinnati team, and he posted an 85th percentile speed score before landing in Cleveland. The Browns were impressed enough to let Kareem Hunt walk and then not backfill the role, draft nobody. I know that Nick Chubb will be leaned on more than ever this year, and Ford will not have standalone value early in the season. We know that. But he is the most tantalizing one-for-one NFL handcuff because if Chubb misses games, Ford steps into a full-blown bell cow role with only the converted wide receiver Demetric Felton behind him. On a suddenly high-octane offense, which is what this Browns offense is with Deshaun Watson, Jerome Ford oozes massive weekly upside when duty calls. Which takes me to the number 2 best possible handcuff back for fantasy football. It is Kenneth Gainwell. The great thing about Kenneth Gainwell is he's already seized the number 1 running back job. He did it in the NFL playoffs. He posted 121 total yards against the Giants and then marginalized Miles Sanders in the Super Bowl. Gainwell's snap share in the Super Bowl, 50%. Miles Sanders, 36%. Sure, the Eagles brought in some shiny new toys to fill out their running back room. They spent an embarrassingly low $1.3 million on Rashad Penny, who has one of the highest fragility ratings on our Injury Finder app. And then the Lions punted DeAndre Swift for a day 3 pick. DeAndre Swift at his 6th round ADP is a total and complete trap. Meanwhile, the Eagles' true number 1 back is an absolute steal at his 12th round ADP. Gainwell already has experience marginalizing shiny toys. He was a workhorse at Memphis when Pollard and Antonio Gibson were on the roster, and he's been the preferred 2-minute drill back throughout camp, and the Eagles coaches love him so much, they had t-shirts made with his face on it. So sell Swift, buy Gainwell. That's what ADP arbitrage is all about. And I'm all about Roshan Johnson, baby. Much as I love Kenneth Gainwell, I really love Roshan Johnson. Just because a great running back was playing behind a generational back is not a reason to punish the great one. Roshan Johnson looked like Ronnie Brown to Bijan's Cadillac Williams at Texas, as Roshan posted better yards per contact numbers and better yards per route run numbers than even the great Bijan Robinson. Oh my God! Bijan has the legend, Roshan has the goods. I know that because Roshan was the best running back I've ever seen at the Senior Bowl, and he did it while practicing with a broken hand. Chicago knew this when they took him early in the 4th round to be their new bell cow back, and I get that Khalil Herbert is a nice story. He was an efficient runner last year, but so was Tyler Algier in Atlanta, and it doesn't matter! Bijan and Roshan have the draft capital, they have the all-purpose talents to be full-blown NFL bell cows. Bijan will be that in week 1. I expect Roshan Johnson to be that guy by week 5.